are the coolest dudes on the planet?
United States veterans.
What's the coolest sport on the planet?
Pro wrestling.
And what would be the coolest podcast on the planet? That would be this one.
U.S. military vets talking pro wrestling.
This is the No Shave Man Cave. Two badass disabled vets sharing their love of pro wrestling, giving you their perspective as fans, talking about current events and matches, history of titles, and who knows what else. Let's do it.
Welcome to the No Shave Men Cave. Now your hosts, EllieJar and JTilly.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, wrestling fans and sports entertainment fans, welcome to the No Shave Man Cave. I'm EllieJar.
I am JTilly. Man, tonight, let's so for everybody that's listening and tracking, we are going to talk a little bit about the Continental Classic, our opinions on it, who we think is going to win, even though it's been going on for a couple weeks, where we think it's going, maybe what they can improve on. And then we're also going to touch a little bit on WWE with SmackDown coming on here in a little bit. Talk about Raw and where maybe CM Punk's direction is going. If this really weak thing he did last week was a work, or if it's he really is just in it for money. So curious about all that. Where you want to start? You want to start with Punk and WWE and wrap up with Continental?
Yeah, definitely want to save the best for last because I was absolutely on the fence, meets an island when it came to the Continental Classic because I was like really, really confused because here you are, you buy this company, this wrestling company, when you already own, arguably number 2 in professional wrestling, if depending on where you sit on New Japan and WWE and Impact and all that. And then to turn around and go, yeah, we're going to call it the Triple Crown. And basically you're taking all of Eddie Kingston's titles away, adding this tournament title. And when they said, yeah, it'll be the Triple Crown, I'm thinking, okay, so are you taking away the world title from Ring of Honor, which has an awesome history in the who's who of professional wrestling, both WWE and AEW. And I totally forgot about like the history of Jay White and Jay Lethal, which we'll get to a little bit later on. I'm a huge Machismo Jay Lethal fan. You take away the world title from Ring of Honor and then slap the Continental Classic title or whatever, or is it going to be? And this goes out as a question: like, do you think it's going to be like the Owen Hart Classic where they wear the title to a couple of shows, the title belt to a couple of shows, and then they just move on with, whatever. But, whatever's going on with, CM Punk and how we're going to get from point A to point B, I'm really, really interested, but there's a lot of really good stuff going on. It's just hard, to, not blur the lines because you've got AEW who all of a sudden kind of let the rules go. And then WWE, they've been having a lot of like double count outs and disqualifications. And a lot of their live shows are ending in double count outs or DQs because it's their work during the live shows. They're working through what they want the live event, the Friday night and Monday night on TV, what they want it to look like. So I'm super interested to see how the year is going to close out. And man, I am pins and needles on who's going to win this Continental Classic, man.
So I'll start with some of the Punk stuff and what I think is interesting. So Punk did that speech when he showed up, 2 weeks ago after Survivor Series, about, I don't know, that very bland speech, and he's home. I think it's interesting he didn't show up for Raw this week. I'm sure it was booked. He wasn't supposed to be, and he's going to be on SmackDown tonight. But to me, that just feeds into this. Rollins is going to be, you said you were coming home, but you didn't even show up. Like, what's going on? And I'm wondering if the little slide of, I'm not here to make friends, I'm here to make money off mic and in the camera is not a hint at what he's going to be doing. And, are we going to see this good boy Punk for a while, and then he's going to start slipping and become a heel and become this, the Punk we know, and like a heel version of it.
Yeah.
So I'm curious about that. I know he's going to be on SmackDown tonight, and the tease is he going to sign with SmackDown? I would be surprised if he signs with SmackDown.
Yeah.
Because they just picked up Randy Orton too. Although at the same time, with Roman Reigns never being on the show, they don't really have any big star names on SmackDown right now that are there consistently. So, and Rey Mysterio is out with the surgery now, so maybe they are going to put Punk on SmackDown, and you'll have Punk and Orton, and then you kind of got this feud growing, and maybe it's going to be Punk and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, and Cody is going to still not finish his story. I don't know. I don't know where they're going to go, and I don't mind that problem. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's okay. I'm enjoying more and more of the WWE storyline. I still have a hard time with the 3-hour Raw, but because there's a lot of fluff in it and still,
Yeah.
but as an overall storytelling and product, and Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn went out there and beat the snot out of each other. The story in that match about the leg and Drew being ruthless on it was fantastic. And those are the things that we used to talk about AEW about doing. And now it's like, all right, well, hey, Vince stepped back and Triple H took notes. And now we're seeing some of the stuff that I think, and vice versa too, right? Like AEW's doing some of the sports entertainment stuff that other people like. So I think there's becoming this nice little blend and mix with everything going on. So, I'm curious, like specifically SmackDown tonight, because at the time we're recording this, SmackDown is not on yet. So curious about, like, I'll watch SmackDown tonight just to see what Punk says. I also am going to probably turn on Rampage because I want to see the Bryan Danielson, Daniel Garcia match I heard was pretty good. So I'm going to check that out. And that leads into the Continental Classic stuff because, man, that's I don't know what the plan is with that title. At first, I thought it was just going to be like, ooh, cool, we got this. But now that you hear everybody talk about it, the passion coming out of Bryan Danielson, the passion out of Eddie Kingston, I'm starting to think, oh, okay, maybe this is going to be a title they're going to defend and keep, which at first, like you, I was like, another title. But, man, the promos they're cutting are putting some backing into this, and everybody in it, like, wants to win it, and you could feel that and that energy. Moxley's doing mic work that I haven't seen him do in like a year, and it's like, yes. Kingston with that first promo after the first loss, sitting there, man, I took Brody King for granted, and he got me, so I got Danielson, I got to win, and then he loses to Danielson. Now it's like, okay, dude, you put all your stuff on the line, and you've lost 2 in a row. Like, you've got to win your next match, and it's just so good. I think it was I don't want to say ploy, but I definitely feel like it was an answer to some of the criticism AEW was starting to get. And I think Tony Khan went, okay, let's do a tournament back to old school, because this is the first time in a long time it's felt like the ranking system's back.
Yeah.
Like, wins and losses matter,
no
that's interference.
True. Dude, I didn't even, oh, man.
Limiting all the stuff that was extra. So if he can find a really good balance between stuff like this, the Continental Classic, and stuff like the Tony Storm character, Black and White,
I can't get
which
enough
is
of that.
Fantastic and great, and I love it, but it's completely contradictive of the hardcore wrestling stuff. So it's interesting, the dichotomy of the two working against each other on the same show, like almost to where it was jarring. I love the Tony Storm match, but at the same time, I'm like, wait a minute, like, we just had this one match, which was all by the rules, no interference, you can't, and then now you're jumping off your partners, your butler's back to attack. But I think I like the idea of the Continental Classic. I like the idea of this tournament style. I think next year's is going to be amazing, because I think they'll be able to put more thought into it and
they'll
plot it out more. And stuff, and you'll, guys that are in storylines right now, they can try to wrap up before it. So you can have people like MJF in it. You can have people like Hangman Page in it, and Omega, the Young Bucks, even, like, who knows? Like, you can start adding more people to it. And I like the idea of doing it in December and running it almost like, okay, we use this as a plot device to spin off some feuds.
Yeah.
Run those feuds for a year or so, or however long you want. You can run them along. And it's almost like a season finale. Like, all right, Continental Classic time, last 3 months of the year is like our reset, our season finale. And if you tell the stories right, some of them can play out in the Continental Classic, and then real blood feuds they can revisit. Or if a feud happened a couple years ago and then they meet each other in the tournament, now they've reignited the feud. So there's just a lot of things they can do if they plan this right.
Wow.
And then with the idea of them wanting to be New Japan, like that works. I'm like, all right, this might be back to what we loved AEW for.
Yeah, I like this tournament better than the G1, and it might be because I understand and know some of the character work and the name recognition. Now, this is purely a question, not like a proclamation or like, hey, on this date in 2023, we're slowly watching the death of AEW. However, do you see the parallels between WCW and AEW with them bringing in, I was going to say hiring, but bringing in all of these aging talents, and now we've got these other TV deals, CW with NXT. Hopefully CW's like, oh yeah, we'll put you on Wednesday. Like, do you have any concern as a fan? Because you like, of anybody I know, you are a tried and true AEW fan since day one. Do you see any parallels, and does it give you any level of concern considering, now if Dolph Ziggler pops up or, whatever?
I would say it would if you had not. That's tough because I would say yes if like Ric Flair suddenly was running a 4 Horsemen thing and it was him and Edge and like it was way over the top. But I think AEW has enough of their own guys. MJF, if you think of your top stories right now, it's MJF, Hangman Page, Swerve. Yes, he's a WWE guy, but he wasn't really like he's not an old time WWE guy. He really was there for a fart in the wind. He hadn't been there long, so I don't consider him like if you would have brought in Kevin Nash, like that's not equal. Edge probably is probably the only one I can think of that's like, oh yeah, that was definitely a WWE guy. But then you see the match on Dynamite, and I'm like, Jesus, like
Dude.
What a great story they told in the action in the ring, as opposed to where Hulk Hogan came in and started the NWO and they barely wrestled and it became way over the top.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't have that fear, and I was a big WCW guy too. But I don't see the comparisons. I mean, at this point, WCW was really starting to flounder. But AEW, yes, they're not breaking 1 million, but they're holding steady. They fluctuate here and there, but it's not like they're tanking and only getting 200,000 people or whatever it is watching the program. They're still getting 800,000, which is about average. And they have pops when CM Punk showed up, and they had a pop when this happened. And they'll do something else coming down the road. Some big name will show up, like whether it's Okada or something, and you might get another boost.
Oh shit! Did you see Okada is
might be going to WWE?
On Impact?
Oh, he's going to TNA.
So he's going to be on the Impact show on the 13th. Is it Time to Kill? Something. Their next pay-per-view. So you've got Osprey on that pay-per-view. You've got Okada on that pay-per-view. I mean, that's a hell of a way to start your year. And considering Wrestle Kingdom last year started our year, and we're getting ready to do our top 5 matches of the year. And brother, man, like, dude, great way, TNA, great problem to have,
Did you hear the news today that TNA streaming service is going to be on Endeavor?
Very interesting.
Wait. The guys that own WWF now, TNA will be streaming. That'll be their streaming hosting platform. That was interesting. Completely interesting. And I mean, I'm not trying to say that Endeavor is going to buy TNA, but it goes to show that how Vince McMahon used to say there's no other wrestling allowed to, like literally he can only run Madison Square Garden. No one else is allowed to do it. Or, there's a clause whenever they go to an arena that no other wrestling show can be in that arena for another 6 months or whatever it is. Yeah. Like he writes those in, but like you can tell Endeavor's like, yeah, we don't care. Like you want to stream on our product? Go ahead. Cool. Like it's such a business for them.
Yeah.
Whereas McMahon almost was like a bully about it. Like, no, you're not going to be on.
Yeah.
So I thought I saw that news today. I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. So you've got Okada. His contract is up. New Japan, is it January or February?
I want to say it's February because he'll be there for Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah. So thank God, so he'll do the work for someone on his way out. with
Probably Danielson.
WWE. What's that?
I think he's wrestling Danielson at Wrestle Kingdom. Yeah, I think it's going to be Danielson in the Tokyo Dome against Okada, I think is what I heard. So, yeah.
I mean, like, I think Okada should get the win this time. But if he gets the win, then he's coming to AEW. If he loses, he's going to WWE.
Yep.
But yeah, dude, like, so you've got Okada, who's about to become a free agent. You've got Osprey, who's penciled in to go to AEW. You've got some other New Japan talent getting ready to pop off. Recently, I've heard and seen talks about WWE wanting to bring in Wardlow and Powerhouse Hobbs. And with QT Marshall leaving, then all of a sudden they mentioned Dustin Rhodes leaving because he's just about done.
Yep.
But like, I thought he was done with his career, not contract.
He'll probably go Hall of Fame. He'll probably sign a Legends deal and go Hall of Fame. I wouldn't be surprised if that was part of Cody's contract dealings. Like, hey, I want my brother in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. I'd love to see Jericho. Like, if we're going to talk about Hall of Fame, like, I'd love to see Jericho. And he made a comment. That not that long ago, within the last couple of weeks, like, well, I'm not concerned about it, whatever. And I get there isn't like a physical Hall of Fame where you're walking through and you're looking at the busts and you're like, oh, I can't believe he rushed for 1,000 yards and he didn't lose for 4,000 days and he had 11 total title defenses during those 4,000 days. Roman Reigns. And it's like, yeah, man, this with WrestleMania getting ready to come up, you've got the Hall of Fame. Looks like Wyndham is going to be put into the Hall of Fame. Wyndham being, having him, Bray Wyatt. Thank you. Bray Wyatt just passing. Him and JoJo were supposed to get married this weekend. And shit, dude. So, rest in peace to the big guy, thoughts and prayers out to the family. So there's so much going on in wrestling, and it's a great problem to have. And you look at the Continental Classic, totally an awesome, I don't want to say reboot, but definitely a sort of
refocusing is what I would say. It feels like a refocusing of what AEW should be.
Yeah.
And, maybe, I mean, I would love for at the back end of this for them to go, okay, we're going to kind of bring back the rankings. It may not be as prominent, but if you want to be in the Continental Classic going into next year, you've got to be ranked in the top 12 or whatever, or how, and now, like, yes, the rankings may not be as far as like title stuff goes, but now you've set the rankings up to like, you literally just taking your top 12 and boom, boom, there you go. Or however many are in it right now. But
no, yeah, that's a great way to put it. So it's like you get the way too early NFL, top, first round picks, or you get the preseason number one, whatever. I like that. I really like that,
because AEW was at its best to me when the rankings mattered.
Yeah,
and like Captain Sean Dean dethroning, messing up MJF because he beats it, he gets the DQ win on him. He's the only person that's never lost to MJF. And back then it mattered because the rankings were kind of there, and you're like, oh,
make it happen, Captain.
Yeah. So it's just really cool. And I just love that whole idea. And
I would love to talk to Captain Dean about that very thing. Like, hey man, another thing too, I don't know if he's ever wrestled CM Punk. They're both from Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like,
I don't know.
So what do you think?
I'd be curious what made him decide to do wrestling when he got out of the military too.
Yeah.
But
considering he's got some
other, so we'll be able to find out.
Really?
Yeah. It's funny we're talking about him. Yeah. Hopefully stay tuned for our December 22nd mental health show. Yeah. We might have some special guests on. Little teaser, assuming everything works out as it should. So
Cap.
Yeah. But man. So good stuff going on. We definitely have gonna have to do some top top fives next week on Wrestlers of the Year and so on. So be on the lookout for that. We are going to start dropping more videos, shorter like this, 20 minutes, because I've been checking the YouTube algorithm. Most people don't stay past the 15-minute mark anyway. So we're going to start chopping them up a little. But if you still want to catch our live shows, be on the lookout. We're working on our Patreon. So for our Patreon family that we'll set up, we're going to still cut them there live. They'll still probably be about an hour with questions and answers from you guys, and we'll talk through you. But we're gonna kind of try to keep the YouTube a little short, and Patreon and a website. We've got a website coming up very soon, in the works now, so you'll be able to get some cool No Shave Man Shave merch, like what my buddy there is showing you, little hats, and we'll have T-shirts and other stuff. So be on the lookout. We appreciate everybody and what you're doing. If this is your first time hearing us, let us know what you think. Leave a comment down below. Like, share, subscribe on YouTube. We're also on Rumble. Follow us there. We are on social media, on Twitter, on X, wherever you get social, Instagram, TikTok, all of that. I'm going to put out some more of our trivia questions. I was kind of on hold on those. Was working on some things, but now I've got another bank of questions and answers, so we'll start dropping some more of those. Check us out if you want the audio version only, so you don't have to look at our ugly mugs. Wherever you get your podcast from, check it out. We'll drop these there.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
Yeah, I don't blame you either. It's the beard. Why do you think we got the beards? To cover up all the distract you. Although, man, yours is all looking all dyed. Like you make me almost want to dye mine because it's getting all white,
dude. Yeah, I gotta. Mama makes me keep up on it. So
I figured for Christmas you'd let it go white.
What's that?
I said, I figured for Christmas, you just let it go white.
I was going to, but Tiff threatened me because last year I pulled all the dye out. So, but hey, if there's any dye companies or hair care companies that want to kick in on the cause, I will rock your dye. I will color it. I will do whatever. Just can't let it go my original homegrown white. It's not gray. It's white.
I know what you mean.
Dude, that looks slick. I wish I could rock mine out, man.
I need to get mine trimmed. It's a little high. But anyway, follow us wherever you get your podcast from. We went on a tangent. Look, shiny object, shiny beard. Yeah, follow us wherever you get your podcast from. Make sure to keep checking. We are going to get on a more strict schedule. Bear with us. It is the holidays. Our real jobs get in the way sometimes, so we will try to start making announcements on YouTube, Facebook, or not Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, X, whatever it's called now, and try to let you guys know where we're coming. So keep in touch. With that, take us on out.
Yeah, buddy, bump and feed. Thank you. Every morning when I wake up and I hear and see the this person, that person, this page, that page just subscribed, I'm putting the hands together. I totally appreciate it. On behalf of JTilly, it means so much to us. We are super humble. And this all started on a conversation out in a parking lot and ended up recording on a phone. And now here we are. And super, super grateful. This has been a fantastic, believe it or not, fantastic 2023, and super, super grateful to have JTilly in the corner and us rocking and rolling here in the No Shave Man Cave. So come check us out like we do as often as we can, live on Saturdays from 7 to 8, and right here on YouTube, Fantasy Sports Corp. Yep. And as always, you can come check us out wherever you get all your socials, threads. We're working to get on a couple of other platforms that are also launching. And also we have our webpage getting ready to kick off. So stay safe, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we'll see you on the floor.
You've been listening to the No Shave Men Cave.
If it's pro wrestling, we're talking about it. Unless we see something shiny and wander off into the woods. If you hang around long enough, we'll eventually come back. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Fire off your comments and be sure to leave us a 5-star rating, and we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, hit us up on Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok at No Shave Men Cave. Y'all be cool. And we'll see you next time on the floor.